Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is TJ. This is the largest cryptocurrency channel on all the interwebs, and we're going to be bringing you an incredible show of Around the Blockchain. Every week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we gather our favorite people and personalities from all around the interwebs to discuss some of your favorite crypto questions and trending topics of the day. Today, we're going to be looking at some top altcoins that are surging. Bitcoin stalling out and trading sideways a little bit. Visa, PayPal, MasterCard going hard into crypto payments. And then the number one most requested question from the audience was, what are the crypto pros doing for their exit strategy? We've got some really good guests today and some fun technical upgrades. We've added a scoring system so we can add points as you go along. So if you hear something you like from one of the guests, drop a +1 in the chat and I'll know to give them an extra point. If you don't like what you hear, put a -1 in the chat and we'll take one away. Whoever's got the most points at the end of the show will have 30 seconds to a minute to leave us with their parting thought before we close it out. So without any further ado, let's just jump right in. I'm joined today by the one and only Ben Armstrong, Crypto Blood, CryptoCrow, and CryptosRUs. So are we all George today? Let's find out. First question,
I hope so.
Ben Armstrong. Top trending altcoins that have been surging. We've experienced the greatest Ethereum surge in the last few weeks since January of this year. We're starting to see all kinds of different altcoins popping off. What do you have your eye on for the next, say, 6 months?
Well, I mean, it's really hard to still go against Ethereum. I mean, I think the upside of Ethereum is really just now being seen, and we're seeing, the gas fees dropping, and then we've got, of course, coming in July, the London hard fork that should see, more progress. So that's definitely a coin that I think is doing well. And then I think Binance Coin, BNB, is also going to continue surging. I mean, it's kind of just like an effect, a compound effect, where you've got all of these great coins that we talk about are on Binance. So even when people are buying other coins, Binance and Binance Coin are still getting, some positive effects from that. So those are some ones I've got my eye on. Right now is the time in the cycle, I think, where it's time to start eyeing some of the smaller ones down the list, your Elrons, your Solanas. But also I think it's a good time to start looking at DeFi projects again. I think we're going to see a rise from Synthetics and Aave and some of those projects as well. So, and I do want to say, of course, to all of our guests we have on the show today, these are three of my favorite people. So if you guys aren't subscribed to these three guys right here, you need to do that. So make sure to go hit up their links and make that happen. But yeah, those are coins I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All the links are actually in the description if you guys want to jump down there. And like he said, subscribe to any of these channels. These are some of the, like you said, best, most fun, friendly people that really know their stuff. And you'll learn a lot from watching all of their channels. So and actually a lot of Central Coast people today. So we're getting all across the country. So Crypto Blood, what are some of the coins you're eyeing right now?
Let me just say, this intro y'all got going on sounds like a 2000s Ja Rule beat. I love it.
Yeah, it was
great
fun.
job, guys.
That's our dude Tyler Ocean. He makes all the beats for all of our streams. He's a good man.
All right, good job, man.
But this
Good
is no
job.
Firefest. This is no Firefest.
Oh, please, no, please. You can sell NFT though. You might make some money.
Yeah, I could.
So yeah, Ethereum is looking good. I think Ethereum is heading all the way to like 15,000 easily in the next 12 to 18 months. And I just kind of picked that number out of my ass, but hey, it's going higher. I'm just tell you that. And the reason is because, you got the hard fork coming up. That's going to help with the gas fees and such. And, it's got the most momentum. It's got the most brand recognition when it comes to smart contract blockchains. So you're going to see that. BNB as well, I think is going to continue to head higher. But, if you really want to see an acceleration in your portfolio, personally, not financial advice, start looking at the ones that with lower market caps, and that gives you more room to head higher. So start picking those off, top 20, and start doing a lot of fundamental analysis and figure out which one you like best.
Did you have any lower cap coins that you're liking for any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, EOS is starting to finally wake up. We changed a lot of the Rex issues that we were having with the power up model that's being instituted. And so that is finally waking up. So EOS is great. You've got Telos, Wax is going crazy right now.
Yeah.
So, and for the NFT space, right? Wax is, I think, a sleeper when it comes to NFT. So I would get ahead of that. A lot of the newer a lot of traffic is starting to head over there for NFT releases. If you look at like Crypto Slam, you'll start to see that trend. So, of course, Ethereum is the big dog right now, but if you want to kind of look ahead of the curve, I think Wax will be a great one to look at.
Perfect. Thank you. George, what are you eyeing?
Man, everyone stole my thunder. I was gonna say Binance Coin is my number one. I've been talking about Binance Coin and Binance for a long time, and as much as I like Ethereum, in fact, this morning I just made a video about how it could hit 8,000 by July, but I say by the end of the year, Binance Coin is going to be much higher. I mean, this congestion issue, is not going to get better for Ethereum. So a lot of these dApp makers have a hard choice to make: either go to a layer 2, stick it out, or move to an EVM compatible chain like Binance Smart Chain, which many are doing right now. So I like Binance Coin quite a lot. I like VeChain. I like VeChain quite a bit. I'm really looking to see what China does with their digital currency, their digital yuan, and how they're going to deploy that, and if they're going to open up the country so that citizens can now invest in crypto. And if they do open that, someone like VeChain is going to benefit tremendously, because they have the biggest partners out there. And then after VeChain is Solana. I think that Alameda and FTX, their basic endorsement is go carry them far. Every single dApp that comes aboard gets tens of millions of dollars of funding immediately from Alameda and FTX. So I think that's going to really carry them far later this year. So my top 3 has to be Binance Coin, VeChain, and Solana.
Great picks. I think those are all solid projects and, have a lot of room to run ahead of them. All right, CryptoCrow, you've been silent over there. What are you thinking? Oh, it looks like you've got George's points too. So
I'm always thinking. Sometimes it's just not good. I'm old. I think I'm the grandfather of this group. I'm not sure what's happening. Am I like the senior citizen of the? So
oh no,
I've got some grades too, man. I've got some grades.
Yeah, I might have to let my wife start dyeing my face again.
Hey, just for men.
That's right. No, I don't think it's any secret that one of my favorites is Cardano. Obviously, I mean, I started covering it back in December of 2017 when it was 13 cents and rode the wave up to $1.33, back down to 2 cents, and here I am sitting, at a $1.62. And the thing of it is. I honestly, and I know this is probably sacrilege to be a crypto YouTuber, so to speak, but I stopped looking into a lot of the shit that's out there because, quite frankly, I've been following Cardano for so long, and I feel like it's finally at a point where everything that it's been working towards is finally starting to culminate into something useful. And when you've been a part of a project, basically, and rode out all of the FUD and everybody that holds a bag of some sort of competitor, and you've kind of beat all of those people, and you've got one fight left, which is smart contracts. That's ultimately what I'm waiting for, because a lot of these coins and a lot of these other projects that people are looking into now on other blockchains, to be quite frank with you, a part of me feels like a lot of them are going to get kicked in the teeth as soon as Cardano's smart contracts launch, and we start seeing a lot of these projects launch on Cardano, because there's just so much more functionality in the code of the Cardano blockchain, and a lot of additional protocols and things that are going to be able to be utilized that we're not really used to seeing. And I think it's going to make the use cases that much more powerful. And I like other things too. Obviously, Celsius Network, which I've kind of bridged with Cardano. They're developing now on Cardano, and they're going to be launching when smart contracts launch, maybe even sooner to some degree. I'm not sure exactly what their plans are. I actually, and if you're talking about, well, if I were to throw a dime onto something, I like Divi Token. I like Divi Token because I've been following them for quite a while, and they've got a lot of really big stuff in the works that a lot of people just don't either, you don't hear a lot of people talking about Divi token because they're not a huge team. They don't have millions of dollars in marketing money to drive up a bunch of FOMO on Twitter and other social media platforms. And, called me old fashioned, but it's kind of like that pretty girl that nobody seems to, that's wearing glasses with her hair up. Nobody wants to talk to at the dance. I'm willing to take her out and show her a good time. And I like Divi for those reasons. And if you take into account that they're about to really dive into the DeFi space with wrapped Divi, which is going to eat up a lot of the circulating supply and provide new and additional use cases to that blockchain as well as the banking relationships and everything else they have going on. Maybe it's not going to make anybody super filthy rich by the peak of this market, but I think it's a worthwhile project for people to at least keep their eye on.
Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of like you said, a little under the radar for a lot of different people. So good take there. Now, another question we get a lot. Okay, Bitcoin hit its all-time high on April 14th. We're sitting here kind of in the second week of May or getting into May a little bit. That seems like forever ago. In crypto, a month seems like such a long time. We get a lot of questions. Is Bitcoin done? Is it topped out? Does it have more room to run? So, literally people saying, is Bitcoin done? Is it dead? Is it everything going to move to these altcoins that are popping off? So I want to hear you guys' perspective on that. Does Bitcoin have a lot more room to run, or is it done? Take it away, George.
If Bitcoin's done, then everything is done. But no, I don't think Bitcoin's done. I was actually just looking at this in 2017, although the environment was very different. Early 2017 to mid 2017, Bitcoin went through the same thing. Bitcoin shot up, and then for a couple months it just went sideways, and then it shot up. A couple months went sideways, and really, it didn't really move all that much until the second half of 2017, especially the latter half, like the last few months when it really blew up. And right now, I think we're going through the same thing. Bitcoin has come up quite a bit in 2021. People have gotten used to that. They're used to that Bitcoin going up 20, 30% every month. And it just so happens last month we didn't go up, and this month right now we haven't. But Bitcoin is going to continue, it's going to go higher. So I think this is perfectly normal. And while people are waiting, altcoins are flying high. So you're not just sitting there with your portfolio not moving. If you're diversified, you're making bank with altcoins while waiting for Bitcoin to come up. So no, I don't think it's a top.
Yeah. And do you have any personal predictions of how high, like any price predictions of where you think Bitcoin will top out, or timelines or anything like that you want to share?
Very early on in 2020, even when Bitcoin dipped to 3,800, I kind of projected out the growth of Bitcoin in 2017, and I applied it to 2020, 21, and it was looking like around $333,000. So I'm gonna stick with that. I would say Bitcoin will be above 300,000 by the end of the year.
Well, that ought to make a lot of people happy. What about Crypto Blood? What are your thoughts?
300K by the end of the year?
Yeah.
God. All right. Yeah, Bitcoin's not going anywhere, man. It's the big dog, right? But I will say that I think that the dominance will continue to lower, which is good in my opinion. That's actually a signal of a maturing crypto market. Mm-hmm. So we'll continue to see the dominance in Bitcoin head lower. But as far as price targets, I don't know, man. All I know is that at $100,000, you're talking about 50 psychological whole number. That is a critical point to me. For me, I talked to a decent number of whales, and that's where they're looking to take some off the table. So I would say you may see a pullback right at 100,000 or just shy of 100,000 as some of the smart money begin to take some off the table. You look at like what's the guy? Forgot the guy that bet big on MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor. They got in it. I think dollar cost average of 20,000, 16,000, I don't know, somewhere around there. So that's almost a 10x for them. I think some of the bigger guys will take a little bit off the table at that point. I know a couple of whales that have told me that they're going to take money off the table at 100,000. So I think a stop at 100,000 or pull back, and then we'll continue higher as well. I mean, 300,000, 400. I mean, who knows where it's going? You know, it's just basically Bitcoin's price is reflective of the dollar losing value, purchasing power, right? So that's all it is.
No, that's good. That's a good point. And like you said, it is interesting to watch some of those psychological levels of where people might pull back. But CryptoCrow, let's take it to you. What are your thoughts on like the timing and price point? Is Bitcoin done, or is it all altcoins from here, or what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I from everything that I see, I still expect to see at least another 5 to 6 months. You know, maybe potentially even 7 months left of this bull cycle. So I think Bitcoin's price is going to be relative to where we're at in the cycle and what else is going on. You know, as long as there is investment interest in Bitcoin, I think, you know, ultimately I have a bit of a tinfoil hat when it comes to some of what I see in the crypto market. Okay. I mean, I do believe that there is something to do with AI, algorithmic bot trading, and to some degree, very significant trades happening in algorithmic bot trading. I think we have cycles like this for a reason, because I think we're still in our infancy when it comes to crypto. Like a lot of the use cases, the technology still hasn't been perfected. We're still shooting around in the dark, waiting for those things that are going to change the world overnight. And so a lot of this stuff to me is still experimental. So I think to some degree, no, Bitcoin's not done. I don't really think it's ever going to be done. But I do believe that its price is going to be relative to where we're at in the overall cycle. And, you know, there really is, I mean, as far as price prediction, I think I've done a couple of videos where I broke down around $280,000 price target by the peak of the market. But again, that's going to be relative to where we're at, you know, I would say come, you know, September, October, so forth and so on. If I'm lucky, the peak of the market will hit November 22nd when I'm 1 year older and I can celebrate my birthday that much wealthier.
That'd be cool, man. All right. Well, it sounds like a lot of us have pretty similar ideas. We're looking at a lot of time, and then based on the time, we extrapolate the price. And Ben, I know you do a lot of that on your channel. Let's hear your thoughts.
Bitcoin is done. It's over. I withdrew all my money today. I cashed it out. Then I tried to spend it at the Louis Vuitton store, and they wouldn't let me. Okay, that's another story. Okay, now listen, guys. Bitcoin is not done. I know this is going to be absolutely shocking to everyone, but we are just getting started. We are in the middle of this bull run. We're about probably in the 5th inning at this point. I agree 100% with what George, you know, projected kind of as the price target for me. You know, George and I seem to do some similar research and come up with some similar numbers. We like some similar coins. Like, it's pretty interesting. And when I heard him say 330K, I mean, my number's 322K. So it's very close.
Yeah, maybe we're all George.
I guess you're George.
Maybe.
Oh my God, I am George. This is amazing. I just realized that. But you know, the fact is if you project what happened in the last bull cycle, in the bull cycle before that, on to where we're at right now, we're about halfway through. And you guys got to remember, like, for people that have not been in this market, and I think for all of us, we kind of live in a bit of an echo chamber because, like, we all have been I know all these guys for almost 3 years. Like, I know all these guys since 2018, like, in person, know them. And so we've been looking at the same stuff for all these years. Most people watching this have not done that. You're newer to the market. We see in the subscriber numbers, the people that are interested in cryptocurrency. And I'm always shocked when I talk to people that they don't know what the 4-year cycle is. Like, if you don't know what the 4-year cycle is in Bitcoin, then you are so behind the 8 ball, it's unreal. You've got to do the education. You've got to learn at the cycle of this market. You have to see how it works. And when you project, you know, the stock to flow chart, the previous market cycles, when you project that forward to where we're at right now, I mean, definitely we are not close to being finished. What we're seeing right now is we're seeing sideways action accumulation for Bitcoin, and that's incredible for the altcoins. I pulled up the Bitcoin dominance chart on CoinMarketCap, and you guys know that back in 2017, from February 26th down to June 18th, so basically about 4 months, Bitcoin dominance dropped from 86% all the way down to 37%. I think we are in the midst of that kind of drop right now. I don't know if it'll drop as low as 37. It might, it very well could. But then over the next 6 months, it actually went all the way back up to 63% before falling off like a cliff and hitting its all-time low of 32%. You know, I remember we were talking about could it go down to 25%, and that would have been at the very peak of the market. So I think right now where we're at with Bitcoin is we're in sideways and the dominance is falling. But just when you least suspect it, Bitcoin is going to come roaring back, and we're going to get to 100K, 150K, and then, you know, it's going to amaze everybody like it always does. Yeah. And I'm winning so far. Look at that.
Yeah, great points. Great points.
Myself.
And
let me
if
TJ lets me win,
rigged.
you guys know it's legit, okay? Because he hates me.
Oh my god.
Oh, look what just happened there. Funny how that works.
Looks like
you know,
the voting.
You can lose
voting
points almost as fast
there.
as you can gain them. But another kind of, let me throw you guys a bonus question real quick. We're getting a lot of questions in the chat specifically about Cardano, and I know we got CryptoCrow here, who's a big ADA fan, has been for a really long time. We got some ADA fans in the peanut gallery here in the studio that really are enjoying what they're seeing, and kind of like what you said, watching everything they've been talking about and working on for years and years and years actually start to happen and culminate and see some actual products and some results. So everybody's kind of asking, what's a good price point? I know it just pumped last night, so it's moved up a little bit.
$8.
$8 is your entry point, or that's where you think it's going to go?
Oh no, that's my price target by the peak of the market. I've been calling $8 for I don't know how long, and I'm starting to see. I was just talking about it in my live stream today. I'm seeing so many people doing TA on Cardano now, and they're using like $7.50, $7.75, $8 as their price targets. And I just think that's funny. I've calculated it out a few different ways, completely unrelated ways, and I always, for some reason, end up around $8. Not to say that's going to happen. I'm a graying old fat man on the interwebs. I don't necessarily know what the hell I'm talking about, but that's just where I think it's going. Call it hopeful. I don't know. But I just think that ultimately when you're thinking about 73% of the overall circulating supply staked on nodes, it's not available on the markets. It's not actively being traded. Then what's left is being traded, and it's all being traded on, the milestones, the development cycles, the partnerships, the FOMO that's being established over time. And and I think that's going to continue to grow. So yeah, I mean, $8, and it could go higher than that. Don't get me wrong. It may not get to $8, but I think $8 is a comfortable spot for me, where if it does hit $8, I'll probably start to DCA out a little bit, and get ready to buy back in at a later point.
So do you DCA in, or like for those looking like they're looking to make their first ADA purchase right now, would you just say like, look, it's going way up, just buy it at any price, or do you try to?
I've been dollar cost averaging since 2017, brother. I mean, I never stopped until I hit my main milestone, and I even talked about it in my very first video, what my goals were with this project, and I've accomplished every bit of that very first video in December of 2017.
Perfect. Thanks for that. And then the number one question we get from all of the audience, by far and wide, the number one email we got, probably hundreds of emails requesting that we talk about this in today's episode, is what is your plan to exit? Are you going to hodl through? Do you roll it into Bitcoin and just let it all sit in Bitcoin? Are you going to tether up and move everything into stable coins? Are you moving to dollars, real estate? What kind of is each of your plan? It seems like everybody seems to think we're going to top out towards the end of this year, 6, 7, 8 months, something in that range. So when that time frame starts to come up, what steps are you going to be taking? We'll start with you, George.
Well, I think this market is driven by a few things. Number one is the halving event, obviously, the 4-year cycle that has always had basically 3 down years and 1 fantastic parabolic year, and that happens to be 2021 with this current cycle. However, this year we know it's different. Institutions have changed the game. They're FOMOing into Bitcoin. This has never happened before. So that is why I think that this cycle may be different and may not end the same way. Maybe there is a blow off top, but I don't think Bitcoin's going to go down 85 or 86% like previous cycles. So I think it's important to evaluate what's going on at the end of the year.
Okay.
Are we seeing a top? Are we seeing altcoins go up like 100x within that last month, just like 2017 and 2018? Right? We have to evaluate that, and we have to evaluate are the investors, the retail investors, the institutional investors, the Michael Saylors of the world. Are they still buying, or they're selling off? There's a lot of things that can happen towards the end of the year. So what I'm doing is basically I'm holding right now, just holding and waiting to see what happens at the end of the year. If there is a fundamental change, something that really changes and makes me think that the top is here, then yes, I will be taking profits. And in my opinion, taking profits to USDT or USDC or USD is it's the same. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to keep it in cash or USDT. I mean, all the stable coins are pegged to USD anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think the investors, new retail people that are in this space, they need to be careful because, like Ben said, not everyone has been around for years. Some have just come in. They don't know any better. A lot just keeps FOMOing in because the prices keep going up. So for those people, they do, I think, need to take profits on the way up. If they can take out their initial investment right away and let the rest ride and play with house money, that's the best way to go. But then set a schedule for yourself as you're going up. But for investors, guys that have been in it for a while, that have a substantial stake in crypto, I think it's important to evaluate at the end of the year to see what you should do.
No, that's a great point. Like you said, it's really hard to make predictions based on stuff that may or may not be happening 6 or 7 months from now. So if we look around and assess the current landscape, like you said, look at what the Michael Saylors and some of these institutions are doing, it might change our strategy. So that, that's a great answer. Crypto Blood, what is your strategy?
Yeah, I DCA in and DCA out.
There you go.
That's always been my strategy. To George's point about newcomers, this is a very volatile market still. So people really need to be careful in how they're positioning themselves. Don't over leverage. Don't, take your home and mortgage it to buy more crypto. Please don't do that. I've been in this game for 8+ years now, bro, and it can go down 90%. It can go down 85%, no problem. Do I see that happening now? Not really. The longer we're in this game, I think, as George said, the more institutional players that come in, you're going to see a more leveling out of volatility. That's going to come down as we head further out. So just dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. Realize some of those gains. Please go buy something physical, whether it be precious metals, real estate. Definitely want to diversify out so you're not overweight crypto. That's the whole key. Don't be overweight crypto.
Ah, great answers. CryptoCrow, you've been through a few markets yourself. What are your thoughts?
So this is actually a big topic for me because, well, I'm old and I'm a little crazier than a lot of you young folks. And, when I look at what's going on in the world, like literally on the global scale, and I think about what's happening in terms of the economy overall, I cannot help but to believe or feel that there is going to be a point. Gosh, how do I word this without sounding nuts? Let's put it this way. How I exit this market is really going to be dependent upon whether or not there is a global currency that's introduced and everybody's pushed to adopt it. I mean, because, realistically, why are institutions getting into the space? Is it because they're looking to make a quick buck? Do institutions really invest in projects because they want to trade, in these unstable markets? No. They're buying into things that they expect to be around for quite a while. And they're buying into digital assets that they think are going to play a significant role in the future economies on a global level. So when I think about what my exit strategy is, it really is going to be dependent upon all of the institutional players involved in the space at the time, what's happening in the price, at what point in the market cycle, and what's going on in terms of the various governments throughout the world. Because when I think about, monetary policy and the debasement of the dollar, what are we going to cash out to? Something that's worth the US dollar? Well, what if the entire economy collapses by the end of 2021 for one reason or another? And we're all basically, what if there is some sort of system out there that's intentionally trying to debase the value of the dollar as well as other currencies in the, across the globe to bring us all down to some sort of a level, right? An equal level playing field so that it's more easily a one world currency is more easily introduced to the public and it's more easily adopted, right? And that's what I'm honestly waiting to see, because I've been researching a lot more than crypto for the last 25 years, and I'm seeing a lot of things unfold right now that have been foretold by a lot of people, and the way it's happening isn't necessarily what I think a lot of people have been expecting, but I think the overall end game, if you will, I think it's very likely. So when I talk about exit strategy, it's kind of like, well, you can exit into something that's going to, something else that's going to sink, or, maybe there's something that's going to be issued out and everybody's going to say, oh, here's our savior. Here's our one world currency. This is going to be a much safer bet than exiting into the USD or something else.
Perfect. Great answers. All right, Ben, I know we haven't gotten into too many details about this, and kind of like George was saying, a lot is going to depend on what's going on 6 or 7 months from now, but what's your take on how you're going to exit these markets, or if you're going to exit?
Well, kind of what we've been doing now is, we've been pulling money out now. Like, guys, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? When you get gains that are absolutely life-changing and big enough to do something with, you should do something with that money. So, we've been putting money into real estate. We bought a new building. Like, there's a lot of stuff we've already been doing. For a while, we were kind of dollar cost averaging out, over time, but then we ended up having some big purchases. And so right now we think our money's more valuable in crypto right now than out of it. Now, at some point, I think that's going to change. So I understand what, Jason is saying. The CryptoCrow, as he's affectionately known. Some people affectionately, I'm not really sure. But the fact is, I understand what he's saying about, like, do you want to be pulling money out and putting it into a depreciating asset, or, a US dollar that could be doing hyperinflation? But at the end of the day, like, for most people, they're not able to just pull money out or just keep money in crypto all the time. Like, the point of you making this money might be for you to do something life-changing with it, whether it's buy a house or buy a car or pay off loans or, retire, whatever the case may be. So for those people, I just want to go back to this. Like, the whole goal of when I started this channel was I wanted to buy my own house with cash. Like, that is what I want. I want to buy a house with cash, not have a mortgage, have a place, no matter what happened. Like, doing the entrepreneurial online thing, obviously there's a lot of turmoil and volatility. And you know what happened? I got enough money to do it, and I started looking, I was like, ooh, but do I really want to pull this money out and do this? And it was hard because I had to sell some coins that I really liked. But at the end of the day, I was like, I got to keep it in perspective. I got to keep it in perspective on what I wanted to do with the money. When greed takes over is when you say, oh, I've got enough money to do it, but now I'm going to take my eyes off of that, and I'm going to make a higher goal. And then somewhere along the line, the market might crash, and you might not be able to do it. So yeah. I did that, and it was life-changing to be able to do that for myself. And so for us with our exit plan, right now we've got everything we need. We've got money in real estate. We've got a stock portfolio. We've got all the stuff that we need. Now it's just a matter of trying to time the market. And I tell everybody this, near the end of the summer, you need to start taking profits and getting out. If you haven't taken anything out by then, by the end of this summer, most people do not think we're going to top out before that. You might see people talking about the end of August. You might see people talking about September, October, November, December. Some people saying early next year. But most of us will agree that this market's not going to top out until at least the end of summer. So, you're not going to be able to judge the market 100%. You're not going to be able to call the exact top. Unless it's September 28th, then we did it a year and a half ago. But so you're not going to be able to do that. It's always easy to look back in retrospect and be able to see what the best decisions were. But just my biggest thing to people is don't get overly greedy, and remember, it will not always be like it is now. One day we will go through a bear market again, and it will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
TJ, can I just say something really quickly?
Yeah, hop in there, man.
What CryptoCrow said about traditional markets, that's another thing that people need to remember. Like, this digital class asset, the assets that we're in, is a new class, right? But it's also still a risk class. Mm-hmm. So it's a risk on asset. That means if equities crash, if we have like a turn, an economic downturn, and it's like '08 again, you better believe cryptos are going to get hit hard. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind. Like CryptoCrow said, if things take a turn for the worse, cryptos are not going to be safe from that, in my opinion. They're going to take a leg lower as well.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah. And I'd like to make just one last point here, real quick, which is just so everybody knows, we will not be pulling out 100% of our money out of crypto no matter what. Maybe I did make that clear. Like, we haven't talked about the number, whether it's 10%, 15%, 25% that we're going to keep in no matter what. Because when you keep money in no matter what, you're hedging against maybe we're wrong. Maybe it is adoption. Maybe the market does go up forever. We pulled out a bunch of money. We've got profits, but we still have exposure to the market. So that's something really important too. Like, if you have a decent amount of money in crypto, you are going to want to still keep some exposure in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Binance coins like that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I have to keep my Cardano pledges active just to keep my nodes running through the whole next bear market. So
yeah, there's definitely, and we're in a little bit of a different situation too than most people probably out there watching, who probably most of your income is in fiat dollars, where we have income in, you know, crypto and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a different situation. I think Crypto Blood said it really well: dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. So that was our number one question. That's all we really have time for today. It looks like, based on the score, we've got CryptoCrow with 11 points. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us. We've had an absolute blast. This is actually a really fun format. We're really enjoying doing this. We want to have you guys back in the future. If you want to hear more from any of these people and their perspectives and their take on the market, they've got a really good perspective, a lot of time, a lot of research, and, you know, they're not going to steer you wrong. So click the links down in the description to check out their channels, drop them a subscribe, and I think you guys won't regret it. So real quick, CryptoCrow, you have a parting thought, 30 seconds to a minute, you want to leave the audience with?
Simple and easy. Cardano to Mars, Dogecoin to the toilet.
Oh, wow.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, that's all we have time for today. Like we said, you know, had a really good time interacting with the audience, adding the scoring feature. We're going to be tweaking the sound effects, tweaking the scoring, and doing a little bit more with the format in the future. But come back tomorrow night. We'll be here again, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys then. That's all we got.
Thank you.